Hi there, it's me again, your Lavanya. Today, we are going to talk about the basics of Saiva Siddhantham. We have been hearing some holy text. We have been talking about Saiva Siddhantham, but let's look at a bird's eye view of what is Saiva Siddhantham all about, and then it will make more sense to go into the details of the text. Thanks for this feedback, because someone had given this in the feedback in the YouTube link, saying that directly you have started with the text, whereas we have no idea what Saiva Siddhantham is all about. Would you mind giving us a brief understanding of that? That is the reason we are coming up with this video. So let's look at Saiva Siddhantham, basics of Saiva Siddhantham in 4 to 5 parts. The first one, what is Saiva Siddhantham all about? In order to understand this, first we have to remember Saivam means the path which helps in worshipping Lord Shiva. So, the path which leads us to Shiva worship, Lord Shiva's worship, is called as Saiva Siddhantham. This is a philosophy. It is not termed as a religion. It is taken as a philosophy. If you look at Hinduism, Hinduism itself is not a religion. It's a way of life. And in the way of life, Saivam means a principle or a set of philosophy that we are going to acquire in this path. So, how is Saiva Siddhantham classifying the things around us? I'm not sure if we can call these as things or entities or forms. Basically, there are 3 elements around us. 1. God, the Almighty. Second, souls. And the third one is the soul is going to be entangled with certain blockages. So we call it as pasam. The technical term for this is the Almighty is called as Irai or Padi. Souls are called as Pasu or Uyirgal. And the third one is the bondage, which is called as Pasam, or it is called as Thalai. So these are the 3 technical terms we need to know, which is Padi, Pasu, Pasam, or Irai, Uyir, Thalai, or in literal English terms, the Almighty, the souls, and the bondages. Now let's look at the characteristics of these 3. When you talk about the Almighty, He is omnipresent, omnipotent. He is there with natural intelligence. You don't need to teach Him anything. He doesn't need to read any text or listen from someone in order to acquire the intelligence. So one thing that is there in the entire universe, or rather in this being, which acquires intelligence not by any exterior means, but internally it is inbuilt, innate behavior. That is what we call it as the Almighty. The second element we are talking about is souls. Remember, Almighty is just one, whereas souls, there are infinite souls around us. It's not just one, it is infinity. So when you talk about the soul, what is the nature of soul? It is also intelligent, but it doesn't have the natural intelligence. Let's just do a small check. Whatever intelligence we are having right now, either we have acquired it based on someone teaching us, or by reading books, or by looking at someone else's experience, or going through the experience our own self, right? So, is this intelligence natural? No. We have acquired it based on some exterior means. So, this is what we call it as the intelligence for the souls is not natural, but it is given. Whereas the primary difference between the Almighty and the soul, Almighty's intelligence is natural, soul's intelligence is not natural, it is going to be taught or acquired. So what is the third element that we are talking about? It is 100% dumb in nature. It doesn't have any intelligence. It doesn't have natural intelligence. Even when you try to teach it, it will not have any intelligence. That is what we call it as bondage, and that is what we call it as the blockers or arnavam, simply classified as darkness. Simply classified as darkness, that's it. What do you mean by darkness? Where you don't know what it is, where is it, or how it is, what is the form, shape, nothing we will know. That is what we call it as the bondage or the blockage. So, there are three things, at least Saiva Siddhantham is advocating on three things, not just one thing. And when you are talking about the three things, we need to understand these three were neither created nor destroyed. It is not going to be destroyed, it is not going to be created, because as science says today, energy can neither be created nor destroyed. Who created God? Who created souls? Who created this entanglement? No one. Is there a destruction for these three? No. So there is no one who's going to create it, no one who's going to destroy it either. So it's going to be there forever. One thing is, what happened to the soul before taking this birth? In technical terms, we call it as a Kevala Nilai. Kevala Nilai means we have been surrounded by this total darkness where we totally ignored, we never had even, we did not even have a clue that we are supposed to be happy. We never knew it. We did not know what was happiness. Then only we can talk about whether we want to be happy, right? We never knew there was something called as happiness. We were in a total coma stage. This is the first form, the first step of a soul is total darkness, because it was covered, 100% covered, 100% encapsulated by this concept called as Arnavam. Now, what happened was, the Almighty saw, and He was having this pity feeling on us, because He knew souls are supposed to be happy, and it has to be happy forever, without any bondage, without any kind of pre-requirements or any kind of condition. Unconditional happiness, unconditional peace is what the soul deserves. He knew it. He wanted to give that. So what He did was, He started sending His grace on us. That's the first love we have all received. So He started sending His grace. We started maturing a little bit. A slow, steady maturity started coming up. You can imagine an analogy something like this. You put a seed inside the soil, deep inside the soil, which is covered in full darkness. When the heat, the light and the water, as well as the soil consistency is just right, the seed will start to sprout. Similar to that, the soul started sprouting out of the darkness. Of course, we are not 100% out of the dark yet. We are still in that. The matter of fact that we are still having a body, it means we are still having that piece of darkness in us. No doubt about it. So what happened was, God slowly gave us bodies. There are 86 lakhs of bodies. In other words, we talk about how many different types of births we have taken. 84 lakhs of births that we have taken, we are still taking, we will be still taking if we don't get renunciation or we don't get realization, self-realization rather. So what happens is, God sends His grace, we start sprouting a little bit, we start maturing a little bit, and that is where God gives us this body. What is created is body, not the soul. So He is giving this body for us. The body is made of the 5 elements, the Panchabhutas, which is the 5 elements. So the body is given to us in from an external manner, so that we can get a little bit of experience. We can understand what is real, what is not real, what is natural, what is unnatural, and we can start longing to achieve peace or attain realization. Slowly we go through this process. From Kevala Nilai, we have come all the way to Sagala Nilai. This is what technically we call it as Sagalam. Sagalam means the body that we have taken, whichever body. It doesn't matter whether it's a human body, even when you're talking about a plant or a dog or any kind of animals, any kind of living beings that we are seeing around us. So basically, this is called as Sagala Nilai. Sagalam means we are one among the others in the planet. Now what happens after this? Slowly we start realizing that this is not life, this is not for what we are born for, this is not what is our purpose, this is not what our journey is, whatever. We start getting a little bit of clarity. That is where we start longing for Lord Shiva. And that is the time he comes, he gives his grace and he brings us to the third stage. So from Kevalam we got into Sagalam. From Sagalam he is going to bring us to Suddham. Suddham means clear, absolute serenity, absolute clarity. So the serene nature of the innate behavior of the soul is what we have to achieve, and that is what our journey is all about. So Saiva Siddhantham talks about three elements: the God, which is the Almighty; the second one is n number of souls, infinity; and the third one is something that is, we call it as a blockage, something that entangles us. So these are the three things or the three elements that was neither been created nor is going to be destroyed, but it is going to be there ever, but it just goes through one level of maturity at a time, especially the soul. The level of maturity is not needed for God because he is already there. So he doesn't need to go through these stages of maturity. Same ways, when you talk about the blockages, it doesn't make sense for it to get that maturity level because it doesn't even need to know what it is all about. So that is an overview of what Saiva Siddhantham is all about. I'll come back again in different portions. We will talk about, or we will discuss about this in different stages so that we don't get overwhelmed with a lot of information, and I don't want to get into a feeling like, okay, I'm feeling like Alice in Wonderland. So what we are going to do is small dosages, but that will be more than sufficient to understand what Saiva Siddhantham is all about. I'll come back again with the next short video. Until then, bye-bye.